Now I have a track that I have here, and it's got like a really nice drum pattern. Okay, so that's the track I have here. Now let me just solo the drums on their own, and so you can hear. I have other percussion over here and the other pattern. So that is my drum patterns over here. So what I want to do is I want to send all these drums into the mixer, and then I'm gonna route all these drums into one bus. So that'll be our drum bus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these, just the drums only and the percussion, and then I'll press Ctrl L to send to the mixer. So this is them starting from here, and I'm going to select all of these and select an extra track, right click over here, track routing, and I'm going to create a submix, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to say drums. So now all my drums are routed to this one track. I'll just change the color of it. I'll just make it maybe a green to make it, you know, look different. So here we have our drum mix. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new track over here, and I'm going to rename it, and then I'll just call it, for instance, I'll just call it, let's say, submix. I know it's a bad name, but for this instance I'll just call it submix. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dock it to the right so that it stays over here on the right side, so that even if I scroll or whatever, it's going to stay here. So now everything we are doing is going, all the drums are going into this one bus. So let me play back our drums. Let me just mute these tracks here and this vocal. Okay, so it's only our kick that's not going into there, and that's easy. If something is out of is not going to the bus, what I can just do is click on it, and then I can just say route to this track only. Boom. Now it's also feeding into the drum mix, so nothing's playing. Now we have our drums. So now what I'm trying to do, the purpose of this trick is to give some more depth and some more edge to our drums and make them hit a bit harder. So what we're gonna do, we come to our submix here, and then we're gonna add, let's say, a multi-band compressor, or multi-band, you know, let me know how you pronounce that. But we come to our multi-band compressor here, and for this instance I'm just gonna add something really hectic, like let's say we can choose, let's just say mastering 6 dB. That's kind of a heavy preset. Cool, and then we're gonna add maybe an EQ2, and on this EQ we're gonna maybe boost a little bit of the bass side and lower some of the mid-range over here and boost some of the high end and leave it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and crush a bit of the drums as well. I'm gonna add maybe a wave shaper, and then I'm just gonna click over here kind of to give it a little bit of crush. So now what we do is we're just gonna click here, and we're gonna send this effect to the drum bus that we have over here. Sorry. So here is the input of the effects that we loaded on this send effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower it, and then I'm going to start raising all that effect slowly up until I start to hear the, you know, the compression and, you know, kind of the effects coming in. So I need to find a balance, a place where it's not overdone and it's not too low as well. So now I'm going to play it back as I raise, you know, the level of the parallel compression and EQing that's going in there. So let's do that right now. There we go. And you can see it coming in right there. Now if I exaggerate it, you'll hear. Just really squashing the drum like really hard. I can even lower the drum master here. if I switch this off, if I switch it back on, that made such a big difference. Now the drums are pumping really hard, and the drums are really coming across, and they sound, you know, together, and they sound like a wholesome, you know, thing. And this is what a lot of tracks are lacking. It's that grouping of the drums and, you know, processing them as a whole. Instead of just over processing a kick or over processing a snare or a clap, you have to kind of group all your drums together into a mix, into a bus on their own, and then, you know, you process all the drums on their own. So that is a great tip I feel like people miss in mixing, and I always use this parallel mixing trick whenever I'm mixing for clients and I'm mixing my own stuff as well, to make sure that all my drums are knocking and they're coming across as a whole. Now again, let me play it for you so you can hear. Listen closely, because some people do not hear when, you know, some of these effects, because they're not as heavy if your ear is not as trained. So I'm gonna play it again, so just pay attention to how the drums are gonna, you know, get more depth. Now this is without the effect, so I'm gonna start raising it, and you're gonna hear how hard they're gonna start playing. And they're not just only changing in volume, but only in thickness as well. There we go. Now you can hear that they're actually pumping a lot harder. So what you can do is you can now go back to your tracks and then start to, you know, edit your effect much more, and, you know, as hard as you want, and, you know, tweak all, you know, the settings to where you actually feel you're comfortable with, and tune everything, fine tune all the effects to your liking. So this parallel trick is very important and is very powerful when it comes to drums. And instead of just thinking about just the main bus, the master bus, you can also make a drum bus, you can also make a synth bus, you can also make a string bus, you can group anything together as long as they are things that are playing alike. Like even with synths, if you have plucks, you can, you know, group plucks together. You can go so many ways with this. So I hope this tip kind of helps you to, you know, to get better in mixing. Most people think it's only about the mastering when it comes to drums and the stuff being clear, but it's not just about the mastering, but it's about what you're doing before the mastering. Mastering is just raising the level to get to, you know, the commercial loudness. So I hope you really find this helpful. I'm here to help you guys. Support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing and sharing with your friends and other producers this video, so that they can also watch and they can also get help, so we can all become super producers. Keep supporting the channel. I'm loving the feedback that I'm getting from you guys. And that's all for today. That's all for this video. I'm X and I'm out. Peace.